Welcome to our YouTube channel dedicated to exploring the latest insights and opportunities in the world of finance and investments, with a special focus on currency revaluation, gold and silver investments, cryptocurrency, and make money online opportunities, and more. If you're interested in staying up to date on the latest developments in currency revaluation, particularly the Iraqi dinar and other currencies, best to subscribe to this channel. Please note that the content on this YouTube channel is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. We are not licensed financial advisors, and the opinions expressed on this channel are based on our own research and personal experience. We strongly recommend that you do your own research and consult with a licensed financial advisor. Also, just before we go any further, this channel has a weekly giveaway of 100 Dogecoin. To enter, all you have to do is be subscribed to this channel, like this video, and watch this video till the end, as we will be sharing a random hashtag keyword daily, and then comment hashtag the keyword with no spaces in between in the comment section. Good luck! Before we get started, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because this update is one of the most misunderstood topics in the entire Iraq dinar story, and yet it's one of the most important. If you've ever worried that deleting the 3 zeros would make your 25K notes worthless, I'm going to show you exactly what the Central Bank of Iraq actually said, straight from their own official document. Now, let's get into it. Recently, there's been a lot of talk again about Iraq's project to delete the 3 zeros. Every time this topic comes up, people panic, thinking it means Iraq will cut zeros off the dinar and destroy its value. But that's not what this project is about at all. The Central Bank of Iraq explained this project in detail in their official publication titled Project to Delete the 3 Zeros Restructuring the Iraqi Currency, written by Dr. M. Saleh, the Deputy Governor of the CBI. And I'm going to read you the direct quote from that document. According to the Central Bank of Iraq, and I quote, "Deleting 3 zeros from the currency does not affect the value or the purchasing power of the currency, and the currency will maintain its value whether in the old or new denominations." That's not a rumor. That's the official explanation straight from the central bank itself. So what does that mean in plain English? When Iraq talks about deleting the zeros, they're not talking about devaluing the dinar. They're talking about redenominating it. It's a structural and accounting reform that simply changes the face value of the notes, not their real value. Think of it like this. Instead of using large bills like 25,000 or 10,000 dinars, Iraq wants to move to smaller, easier-to-use denominations like 25, 50, or 100 dinars. But the purchasing power stays exactly the same. The CBI even compared it to switching from Roman numerals to Arabic numerals. The symbols change, but the value behind them doesn't. Here's the key point. During this transition, the central bank has said that the old and new notes will coexist for a period of time. That means your 25,000 dinar note will still hold the exact same purchasing power as the new smaller notes. So no, you don't lose value when they delete the zeros. Now here's where it gets interesting. If Iraq moves forward and then adjusts the exchange rate, what we call a revaluation or reinstatement, your current 25,000 note would still be exchangeable at that new rate. In other words, if the new international rate came out at something like $3.22 per dinar, your 25,000 note would still multiply at that rate because the central bank keeps parity between the old and new currencies during the coexistence phase. And according to that same CBI document, the redenomination is described as a homogeneous function of degree 0. In economic terms, that means this process has no effect on real wealth, income, or purchasing power. It's a one-for-one balance. Your old notes and the new ones are equal in value during the coexistence period. Now, here's where it ties into the bigger picture. This project is not the revaluation itself, it's the preparation for a revaluation or reinstatement. It's about setting the system up for a stronger, internationally tradable currency. And we know Iraq is actively preparing for that next stage. Deputy Governor Ammar Khalaf recently confirmed that Iraq's gold reserves have jumped from 90 tons to 170 tons, now making up 20% of the central bank's total assets. That's a massive increase in financial strength and a key prerequisite before any rate adjustment. He also stated that there's no plan to float the dinar, meaning Iraq intends to manage its rate carefully, which is exactly how a revaluation or reinstatement would occur under a controlled peg system. Now let's talk about how close Iraq really is to completing this process and where they stand in the actual steps toward a revaluation or reinstatement. Based on the official roadmap of monetary reform, there are typically 9 major stages, and Iraq has already made strong progress through most of the early ones. First is the preparation and stabilization phase, which Iraq has essentially accomplished. They've built up one of the strongest reserve positions in the region, with gold holdings jumping from 90 tons to 170 tons, now accounting for about 20% of the central bank's total assets. Inflation has remained under control, and the exchange rate has stayed stable at around 1,300 dinars per dollar, showing strong monetary discipline. The second step is public disclosure of intent, and that's already been completed. The Deputy Governor of the Central Bank, Ammar Khalaf, publicly confirmed that Iraq intends to remove the zeros from the currency to make cash handling easier, while also clarifying that there is no plan to float the dinar. That statement alone shows Iraq is moving within a controlled, carefully managed policy, not a random or speculative move. Next comes operational readiness, and that's where Iraq is right now. They've modernized their banking systems, expanded digital payment infrastructure, and strengthened anti-money laundering compliance. While we haven't yet seen the new lower denomination notes released to the public, it's likely that preparations are happening behind the scenes, including calibrating ATMs, updating accounting systems, and training financial institutions for the upcoming coexistence phase. The coexistence phase itself, where old and new notes circulate together, has not started yet, but that's the step that typically triggers public awareness campaigns and bank-level procedures. This phase is what we expect to see next, followed by alignment with IMF Article 8 standards, which would allow Iraq greater access to global currency markets and signal that the dinar is ready for full international convertibility. Iraq has already been taking steps in that direction through digital reforms, partnerships, and its ongoing progress toward joining the World Trade Organization, all moves that point to a more globally integrated financial system. After that would come the rate action, or what many of us refer to as the revaluation or reinstatement. This is the controlled adjustment of the exchange rate, and Iraq has already said they won't do a free float, meaning if and when the rate changes, it'll be deliberate and managed through policy. Once that occurs, the final steps would involve organized note exchange, public education, price stabilization, and finally the gradual retirement of the old notes as the new series becomes the sole legal tender. So in simpler terms, Iraq has already completed the first 2 steps, stabilization and public disclosure, and is well into the third, which is operational readiness. The next visible signal would be the release of new smaller notes and the coexistence phase, which would officially mark the start of the transition. Now, to put this all into perspective, let's talk about how Iraq's situation compares to other countries that have gone through similar monetary reform. A lot of people like to bring up examples like Turkey and Russia, both of which deleted zeros from their currencies. But here's the key difference. Those were pure redenominations, not revaluations. Turkey removed 6 zeros from its lira in 2005. 1 million old lira became 1 new lira, but the value didn't suddenly skyrocket. It was simply a way to simplify accounting, reset the currency system, and control inflation. Russia did something similar in 1998 after its financial crisis, deleting 3 zeros from the ruble just to stabilize the economy. In both cases, people didn't experience a massive increase in purchasing power overnight. Iraq's situation, however, is different. Based on what we're seeing, the central bank's official statements, the gold reserve buildup, the push for IMF Article 8 compliance, and the modernization of the banking system, Iraq's plan looks far more like Kuwait's reinstatement model after the Gulf War. Here's what happened with Kuwait. During the 1990 invasion, the Iraqi dinar temporarily replaced the Kuwaiti dinar. But once Kuwait was liberated and its financial system stabilized, the central bank reinstated its currency to the original rate around $3.30 per dinar, almost overnight. That's a classic reinstatement, restoring a pre-war value once the economic and political foundation was ready. So while Turkey and Russia were fixing inflation and simplifying their currencies, Iraq appears to be rebuilding purchasing power and preparing for re-entry into the international market, more like Kuwait did. This is why the central bank keeps emphasizing that deleting the zeros does not affect purchasing power. It's the structural phase before the rate change. The redenomination organizes the currency, and the RV or RI is what assigns it new strength internationally. In other words, Iraq is not erasing value. They're preparing the system to reflect real value once all the mechanisms are in place. And when you line up the evidence, the strong reserves, the gold increase from 90 to 170 tons, stable inflation, digital transformation, and the deputy governor's recent statement rejecting a float, everything points toward Iraq following that Kuwait-style IMF-aligned playbook. So while we can't guarantee the exact timing or rate, what we can say is that Iraq is now deep in the technical and operational stages. And historically, once a country reaches this level of readiness, the policy action phase tends to follow. So let's put this all together. The CBI's project to delete the zeros is a currency restructuring, not a devaluation. The central bank itself says it will not affect the purchasing power of the dinar. The new smaller notes and the old large notes will coexist, holding equal value. And Iraq is quietly checking every box that typically happens before a major currency reform: gold buildup, digital banking systems, IMF coordination, and now a renewed focus on redenomination. If this helped clear up your confusion, drop facts in the comments so I know you understood this part, and tell me what you think the next move will be. And if you haven't yet, subscribe right now and hit that notification bell, because the moment Iraq takes the next step, whether it's with the IMF, the WTO, or a formal revaluation move, you'll want to understand it before the rest of the internet catches up. And if you want to watch my full breakdown of the recent article straight from the CBI, the one discussing the deletion of zeros and whether they plan to float the dinar, click the link at the top right corner of this video for my complete analysis. What are your thoughts on this video today? Before ending this video, the hashtag keyword for the 100 Dogecoin giveaway is coordination. The winner will be announced this Sunday and will be in one of the Sunday's videos. Stay tuned and good luck. Please drop a comment below. Let us know what you think, and don't forget to add hashtag and the keyword for today. Also, don't forget to please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you get notified when new videos are uploaded. See you on the next video.